I vowed that day that what we saw on CNN, what we saw everywhere, about 20 million gallons overflowing in the Middle Patuxent River, would never ever happen again. And so today is a very important milestone to make sure that what we saw never happens again. So what we're doing today is installing backup generation that will be able to power this plant for the amount of time that it takes for our friends at the utility to get power back up and running here to the treatment plant. There's one other important piece of this, and that is that when I tasked our team from the Bureau of Utilities to make sure that we had backup generation, to make sure that what we saw never happened again, I also tasked them to do it in the most environmentally friendly way. And so we spent a lot of time figuring out what exactly that would look like, and we came up with a way, working with our partners, to make sure that we were installing solar arrays, which you see in the pictures to my right and to my left, and you'll hear about that in a minute. That will generate power that will be supplied to the plant 24/7, and it will more than offset any carbon that comes out of using the generators, even if the generators had to be used for 2 major events in a year, which we hope that they're not.
Engineers like 2 things when they build things. They like proven technology and they like reliable technology. So we're back to diesel generators, big diesel generators. These are big monsters, 2.5 megawatt. 1 generator will roughly power this plant on a day like today. In severe weather, we need 2 with 1 to back up.
I mean, this plant really is a leading by example institution or facility. And I'd add even to the administration's strategic goals, not only are you helping considerably with helping to restore the bay and the local waters of the state, but also, as you've said, in terms of our carbon reduction, our carbon pollution reduction goal. I mean, this kind of facility is an example of sustainability at its very best.
Resilience is a shared responsibility from everybody, from an individual all the way up through the counties to the state. So we're hoping that projects such as this, and this is a great one to come here and talk about, helps us to make the state much more resilient.
The power from these 738 panels will be provided directly to the plant and will offset the plant's need to purchase electricity in the amount of 273,000 kilowatt hours annually, which is about $21,000. The net carbon effect, as we've all talked about, because the renewable will reduce the amount of power required to be purchased from the grid. It will offset any carbon that is created by the use and operation of the generators. And in fact, the PV system is expected to produce more power than the generators will produce in a year.
I would rather rely on the men and women who work here for our power than anyone else outside of this plant. And so again, it's a tribute to the men and women who work here. We've now invested in you, invested in this plant, invested in the tools that we need to keep this going, so we don't have to rely on anyone else but ourselves to keep this up and running. And again, I just want to thank everyone who made this happen. It's one thing for me to stand here and say this will never ever happen again. It's another thing to working with the council, get the funding, working with our partners to get the plan, and now working with the men and women who work here to get this up and running and make sure that my words that I said that day become a reality. 1, 2, 3. All right.